Botak Chin, as he was known, was Malaysia's most notorious criminal in the 1970s. Is his talisman endowing him with supernatural abilities? Will he paralyze cops simply by shaking their hands? Was he like Robin Hood, robbing the rich to give to the poor? There were many stories about him, and his life became a legend of its own. Botak Chin, also known as Botak Chin, was a Malaysian gangster and criminal. He was born on March 3, 1959 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to a family of 10 siblings. His life was far from easy, having to share with 10 of his siblings while his father only worked as a railway worker, forcing him to drop out of school at the age of 15 and work as a fishmonger at the nearby market. After his mother died in 1968 when he was 17, he distanced himself from his family and frequently spent time away from home with his friends, who were local hoodlums, which eventually led him to committing petty crime. He joined Gang 360 and was impressed by the way guns commanded respect to the gang members. Botak Chin and 2 of his friends participated in their first robbery a year later, on April 19, 1699. He proudly owned his first firearm, a 22 caliber revolver, when he was 18 years old. Shortly after, he formed his own gang and went on robbery sprees. Botak Chin committed 8 robberies in a month in 1969. This resulted in his first arrest, for which he was convicted and sentenced to 7 years in prison. He was released 4 years later at the age of 22 for good behavior and vowed to leave gang tourism. However, his attempt to become clean and work various odd jobs were financially unsatisfying for him. Botak Chin re-entered the criminal world in 1974, forming a new gang with infamous gangsters and purchasing firearms in Thailand. On June 2, 1975, the gang robbed an illegal gambling den in Sentul of 5,800 ringgit. Botak Chin returned to Thailand with the proceeds of the robbery and purchased 8 more firearms and 100 rounds of ammunition. The gang became more ambitious and bellicose on July 20, 1975. Now armed with even more new firearms that they had recently purchased, they robbed bank in Imbi Road and fled with 95,000 ringgit before gunning down several mahjong players inside a Chinese temple on Kolam Air Road and fleeing with another 10,000 ringgit. Due to growing terror in Kuala Lumpur, the police increased their effort to apprehend Botak Chin. Deputy Superintendent Eskulasingham, a much feared high-ranking police officer at that time, was assigned to stop Botak Chin, but was shot by Botak Chin and his gang members, seriously injuring him. Then, Botak Chin traveled to Thailand frequently, not only to obtain illegal firearms, but also to obtain protective talisman called Tangkal from Siamese shamans. It was rumored that the Prapita talisman he obtained from a Siamese shaman gave him supernatural powers, allowing him to evade capture, survive, and escape from numerous gun battles with the police. But that is not the case. Botak Chin was known for being generous in giving money he robbed to the poor, earning him the moniker modern-day Robin Hood. However, few are aware that he did so in order to have people act as his eyes and ears. They, the local people, are the one who frequently inform Botak Chin about the presence of police officers who want to arrest him, and some even let him hide in their homes. Botak Chin is always able to run away from the police because of the bribe he has given to the people. Botak Chin gang's second biggest heist took place on October 26, 1975, when the gang fled with 280,000 ringgit after gunning down a security guard delivering money to a turf club. With his share of the robbery, approximately 40,000 ringgit, he returned to Thailand to purchase even more weapons, a total of 19 guns, 5 hand grenades, and 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Although things were looking out for Botak Chin and his men, his rival grew increasingly envious of his achievement, leading to an increase in clashes between him, rebel faction, and competing gangs. Botak Chin focused his attention on gang wars in order to consolidate his power as the supreme gangster in Kuala Lumpur. Botak Chin began recruiting new members for his gang in early 1976. Following the recruitment, his gang committed 3 robberies and escaped with 400,000 ringgit, the largest robberies he had ever committed. Despite their success, the gang suffered a high number of casualties. 7 of his men were killed and a few others were apprehended. Police seized 15 firearms as well as ammunition and hand grenades. Then, Magnificent 12 was formed in order to completely eliminate Botak Chin and his gang. They are the best detective officers and members who have been specially chosen to track down Botak Chin. Botak Chin and his associate were discovered hiding in an Eng Leong sawmill factory in Batu Tiga, Ipoh Road, Kuala Lumpur, just 2 weeks after the special force were formed on February 16, 1976. The Magnificent 12 start their plan to ambush the hiding place. Then there was a historic exchange of fire. Finally, 2 of Botak Chin followers were killed, and 2 others, including Botak Chin, were seriously injured with 6 gunshot wounds. Botak Chin denied being involved in the robberies and claimed that the other robbers used his name as an alias when he was apprehended and interrogated. A senior police officer, on the other hand, testified in court that Botak Chin was conscious during his arrest. Botak Chin, who was 27 years old at the time, faces 3 charges under the Internal Security Act in the Kuala Lumpur High Court on May 12, 1980, 4 years after his arrest. According to the New Straits Times, he denied owning firearm and ammunition, as well as 2 pouches of bullets discovered in his pocket during the sawmill incident. He claimed he had no idea how they ended up in his pocket. He did, however, plead guilty to the ISA charges, becoming the first Malaysian to do so. He was sentenced to death by the High Court. On January 1, 1981, while awaiting his day on death row, he attempted but failed to escape from his cell in Pudu prison. He stabbed several prison wardens but was seriously injured during the struggle. Botak Chin was executed at 3 a.m. on June 11, 1981, in the same prison where he had been held on death row. Ironically, none of the charges were murder. He was sentenced to death solely for having firearms in his possession, a capital offense. Meanwhile, people continue to forget the greatness of Magnificent 12 and PDRM in general, which succeed in crushing and crippling the cruelty of the long-hunted criminal. However, Botak Chin, who is said to be Robin Hood-style criminal because he gave money to the poor, received all the attention, when in reality, the money was given to the people as wages so that they will notify him if the cops arrive.